Hi, I'm Brad Buckner, sharpensbest.com. We just got in a new knife that we might be carrying. I'm going to do a little demo on it first. I'm going to check it out myself. As always, we take it out of the package right here in front of you. All the little surprises, come on me as I do this. It is called an 8-inch survival hunting knife. Okay, it's made out of stainless steel, and it appears to have something in the handle that's really good. I'm going to use my knife, my pocket knife, and I'm going to cut the plastic here on the back, and let's look here and see what might be the best way to go. I just cover most of the knife, leave a little bit of the tip sticking out. Run my thumb in there, cut it across there, and we just kind of rip it apart because that stuff is mean. All right. Okay, it comes in a nylon pouch. It's got a snap on it to hold it in there. It's got a lanyard for your hand. Okay, so it's harder to drop the knife. Okay, it's made out of stainless steel. It's all metal, full tang. It's got a saw in the back. Wow, that looks vicious too. And so anyway, you got a good curve on the blade. You got a thick blade, probably 3/16 of an inch. You got about 5/8 of an inch up on the hollow grind. Then you have the secondary bevel. Looks a little thick, probably won't cut all that great. They did not do what's called a fantastic job on the tip. You're gonna have to put your own tip on there if you want to. Maybe you don't want a really sharp tip. Maybe you want the tip a little bit blunt, for prying on stuff, so you don't break the tip off the blade so easy. Okay, so first of all, let's run through it just a little bit here. We do have a saw on the back. All right, it is very aggressive. It is not wider than the blade, so the kerf on it will not allow you to get too far into the wood. So to cut a piece off, let's say that's 5 inches in diameter, you would just score it all the way around as much as you can, maybe chop it a little bit, and then just actually jump on it and let your body weight break it, It appears to be a pretty good knife. It's pretty solid. It does have some knurling on the handle. That's going to keep, if you got fat and tallow on your hands, if your hands are cold, maybe you got fish guts or something like that on your hands, you don't have time to wipe it off, get a good grip on it. Of course, you'd use the lanyard. I actually twist mine up a little bit like that and shorten it, and now it's tighter around my wrist right there. Get a hold of it. If you drop it like that, it takes more for it to come off of there unless it's open. So we're just going to do this a little bit. That shortens it up. Get a hold of it like that. Check it for weight. Check it for balance. The handle and the blade and everything seem to fit really good in my hand. The blade is a tiny bit heavier than the handle. That's not always good, but at least it's not. Oops, got something biting me. At least it's not real heavy on the blade. Why do we care about that? If you're walking along, you're doing something, you're in a fight, whatever it is, if your hand comes open just a little bit, you don't want the blade real heavy, because that's going to tip the knife out of your hand real fast. And if you don't have a lanyard on it, your knife's going to go down. And then you're just, it's hand to hand with whatever you're doing. So I don't want the blade of the knife a lot heavier than the handle. I want it to stay, see, that just almost, I have to grab it again, but it almost sits there, for a while. It gives me a good grip on it. It doesn't just fall out of my hand. So let's go ahead and let it untwist here a little bit, and look, they've got a cap here on the back, and it's also got a rubber O-ring. Let's get it up here in the light. If you kind of zoom in here, that black part right there, that's a rubber O-ring, so that's a seal against a machined surface. You don't want to smash it when you put it back together. Just snug it. That'll keep the water out, because maybe you're going to put matches and things in there. If they have a screw on the end of the handle, that's a good indication that there's a tube there. So what is that tube for? Hang on just a second here. Let's do this. All right. Now that's not exactly in the way. So you have a handle here, and oh my gosh, I should have read the instructions, because in the handle, now this is kind of a shock, this is a surprise. I did not know that was in there. We have some matches in there. All right. We've got some thread. We have a safety pin. We have 2 sewing needles. All right. If you cut yourself bad, now maybe you have to deliberately cut yourself. Why? You fall down and you run a serious sliver into your arm, you better have some, and I would not want to cut a sliver out with that knife. You better have a smaller pocket knife or a razor blade or something like that. But maybe you actually have to make a big enough incision to fix whatever the problem is, and then you better have some thread and a needle, you know, to sew it back up. And I don't mean common house thread, but you know what? If I got to sew up a gash, I'll take anything I can get. All right, so that's in the handle. And you know what? I believe that even maybe with this in there, I might have, oops, I'll pick you up in a minute. I might have some chance. Okay, if I'm out in the boonies somewhere, first of all, this is good. You can have your little poker chip one with you, or you can have the Sharpens Spark Mini. Sharpens Spark Mini's got a bottle opener, a fire starter, a reshaper, and a sharpener. So, let's peel that off of there. Oops, something on my arm again. Just like this. Go all the way around, put your keys back in your pocket. And guess what? I know it will. Bye. Now, we put the cap back on it, just like this. All right. Now my sharpener, my shaper, my fire starter, and my bottle opener is in the handle of my knife. How convenient does that get? Okay, so you just unscrew this. All right, and this one happens to be brand new, so I'm actually not going to scratch a brand new one just for this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put the cap back on here. I'm going to put that back in my pocket, Sharpens Spark Mini. All right, reach here in my pocket, find my used one. All right, now let's cut some paper. I don't really think this knife is going to cut much paper because they didn't spend much money sharpening it. Okay, that's better than I thought. If I go along a little slow, that's better than I thought it would. It's a very aggressive grind. It's pretty thick. So let's just sit down here for a minute. Actually, I better put this back in my pocket. If I don't, I won't have it. Okay, so again, we're going to take the corners. There's a corner right there. They're 90-degree corners. Corner there, corner there. So how do we get two 90-degree corners? It's real simple. Take a piece of carbide, grind it flat, tip it up 90 degrees, grind it flat. You're going to have a sharp corner right there and a sharp corner right there. They're 90-degree corners made out of tungsten carbide. If you have a super hard substance with a 90-degree corner on it, I'll guarantee she'll cut. All right, just like this. And we're just going to run along here, pick it up, set it down back, pick it up, set it down in the back, slide it forwards, pick it up, set it down. I'm going to put a little more pressure on it than normal because it's brand new. I need to shape the blade just a little bit. Need to fix it my way. And run it right on out here like that. Even Frank Sinatra believed, I do it my way. Just like that. Right, and now, here's what we're doing. We match the grind, the bevel on the blade, the secondary grind, secondary bevel. Turn it approximately 45 degrees. Let it balance, tuck it in, put your thumb on it, capture it lightly with your middle finger, and right up here in the heel of your hand. Now I can roll it, I can move it this way. I can do a lot of things with that sharpener that a lot of people never thought I was doing because I do it pretty fast. Just like that. And turn it over, put the point in there if you want to, just like this. Go right on around. As in all knives, look at this bevel. See how long the grind is? See how short the grind is on that side? That means that the same thing happened to this knife at the factory happens to all of them. If they're right-handed and they're looking right at it, they do this. They're not left-handed. They get in there and they get out of there. It's going to be different. So your knife will be too. Just like this. Right on around. Right down here off the tip. And then light. And let's see if that, about a minute, changed my knife enough to where you can see a difference. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a tremendous difference in just 1 minute. Hard stainless steel, thick, probably about a 15 to 17 degree bevel from what it was to this. Actually, I'm kind of impressed. Make them cut like that in about a minute. Pretty good knife. This is Brad, sharpensbest.com. Take care.